one, strong and free.
As we are standing, let me ask Barbara to give us a prayer. Barbara, give us a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence. We thank you for your goodness and for your mercies upon our lives. We thank you also, O God, even for your mercies upon our hearts here. We thank you, Jehovah, even for all our leaders, O God. As we come in this gathering, Lord Jehovah, we ask of your wisdom and your knowledge, even your understanding, Jehovah. But Father, together we shall and we stand. In Jesus' mighty name, as we discuss, my Father, may you also, O God, be with us. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
We may take our seats. Thank you. Before I call upon the Secretary General to introduce the leadership that is here, I'd like to apologize to our colleagues from the media, the press, and reservedly we want to apologize for delaying the press briefing. It's due to circumstances beyond our control, but at least we're here. I'll ask the Secretary General, who is going to guide the press briefing, to introduce the leadership that is here. Secretary General, sir.
Thank you very much, Media Director. May I echo the sentiments of our Media Director, who is also Master of Ceremony for this afternoon's press briefing, that we apologize for delaying the press briefing. Apparently, we juggle between many issues, court and other matters, which sometimes we have no control over. But we're grateful that you are patient enough to wait. And I want to acknowledge the presence of each one of you that are here, and you are very important in the shaping the future of our country, because you are the conduit through which information is passed on to our people. Allow me at this juncture to acknowledge the presence of our Leader of Opposition, Honorable Mao Sampa, who is also a member of Central Committee. Allow me to acknowledge the Senior Member of Central Committee, Honorable Sylvia Charikosa, MCC Danienga, the Patron for the Gen Z, President for our Special Purpose Vehicle, NCP President Peter Chanda, Pastor Peter Chanda, other MCCs that are also present, and senior members of our party at the province, district, and the other organs of our party. I am privileged to address you this afternoon, but I also did invite our Leader of Opposition to be able to address himself to some of the pertinent issues that affect all of us in the country, and then I'll be able to address issues that have to do with Patriotic Front and also our alliance and other political engagements in our quest to work together with everybody in opposition as we proceed towards 2026. With that said, allow me to invite Honorable Mao Sampa to make his remarks briefly, and then I'll pick it up from there.
I think I have a similar one. Okay. Mr. SG, thank you, and President Chanda and the other president of the Tonse Alliance present, members of the Central Committee, colleagues from the media, and all protocols observed. I once again apologize. My colleagues were being kind. They failed to say that I was the one on duty to join him, but I was stuck in Matero. I was in George compound doing roads, and coming out of there is not always an easy task. So I sincerely apologize. My role is simple here, is just to touch on the state of the nation as regards economic challenges. And I'll be very quick because we want to expose the UPND They clocked 4 years a few weeks ago, and everything that they promised they would do economically has taken a reverse turn. So I'll just speak on starting with fuel. Currently we have a diesel shortage. These were meant to be master fixers. They said Bali will come and fix. Under PF, we hardly had fuel shortages. But even when we did, they said they'll come and fix. Here we are, instead of fixing, there's fuel shortages. Even on the price, wherever they found the price of petrol, the price of diesel, it's now over 500% more. It's gotten worse. We go to the main staple food of Zambia, mealie meal. They found it at 120 per 25 kg bag of mealie meal. Now it's at least 250 per 25 kg bag. So instead of reducing to 50 kwacha like they said, now it's tripled on the price. Even when they've had so-called bumper harvest, now instead of putting the maize on the market so that the price of mealie meal goes down, what do? They're exporting it to Congo. They have high appetite to sell. The only thing that comes in their mind is what are they going to sell? What are they going to sell? The mines, they've sold them. When we have bumper harvest, instead of making the price of mealie meal cheaper, what do? They export. And price of mealie meal has remained expensive. ZESCO, under the PF, when President ECA gracefully handed over power at Heroes Stadium, 500 kwacha could buy you at least 50 units of ZESCO. Now the same 500 kwacha is only buying you about 17 units of ZESCO. They have increased the price of ZESCO. We never used to have load shedding the way we are having it. Under ECL, we had drought, but we would have load shedding for 8 hours and there's power for 8 hours. But now, under this government, we are meant to come and fix, Bali will fix it. After 4 years, we had a lot of rainfall last season. There was floods in Matero, in Kanyama, and elsewhere. Instead of load shedding reduced, now load shedding is even worse. We are having 1 hour of load shedding of power, and it's coming about 4 a.m. when people are sleeping. I saw a good quote in Patriotic. They said, here in Patriotic, power today is only view once only. View once only, it just lights, it goes off. That is the situation, but we know it's because they are exporting the power to Congo DR. We know they are giving the mines, they are not prioritizing the people. I want also to take this opportunity to remind President HH that last year he visited our compounds to check on the floods, the annual traditional ceremony of Lusaka. I didn't go because I didn't want to be part of taking pictures into the floods but not finding solutions. They said they'll find a solution. We are 2-3 months before the rain season now. So I'm reminding President HH that he said he will fix the floods. So may they do something about it. They are in charge of the council, they control the council with the councillors, the town clerk there, the directors are the people that they have hired. So they should do something to mitigate floods in Lusaka before the floods come in the next few months. Lastly, I'll go to public institutions. The concern about the abuse of public institution. In South Korea, the president was impeached because he was interfering with public institutions. In our context, public institutions are Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, the judiciary, and parliament, or any other public institution, including ZNS. For any one individual to interfere with operations there is an offense. And I call upon the diplomatic corps, I call upon the embassies in Zambia, the EU, to take an interest on how public institutions are being used to stop the PF from participating in the democratic dispensation of Zambia, from participating in the elections, and from conducting ourselves as an opposition. The UPND were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do in opposition. In parliament itself, they were allowed to choose the leader of opposition they want. It used to be Jack Mwimbu, then it was Gary Nkombo. Edgar Lungu never interfered. The PF decides the leader of opposition is Mao Sampa, they ignore, and they are breaking the law. That's interfering with a public institution. Coming to the judiciary, a number of court cases that just needs a ruling, they are all still outstanding. ECZ, there is no reason why the PF is being stopped from participating in the by-elections. The by-election in Mfue and the other by-elections that were all over for councillors. The Secretary General is here, undisputed Secretary General. So his adoption certificate should be adhered to by the ECZ. But they refuse in their own wisdom. They don't want PF to participate. They want a competition without opponents, and then they celebrate that they are popular. They are lying to themselves. But events of the last 1 week have taught me something. You know, there's a saying in Latin, vox populi, vox Dei. Vox populi, vox Dei. It means the voice of the people is the voice of God, which is democracy. What is the voice of the people is when they are allowed to exercise their ballot. So who is stopping people to exercise their freedom to voice out a leader they want, be it a councillor or council chairperson or an MP? It's the ECZ. Who is the head of the ECZ? Madam Wangara Zaromis. Do you think God is happy with her? I end there. Thank you, Mr. SG.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mao Sampa. Colleagues, as you are aware, we are still mourning the passing on of our 6th Republican President and President of Patriotic Front. And even for us to call this press briefing, we're very reluctant, but it has been necessitated by a few things that we need to provide guidance over within the party. But I must reiterate that as a party, we continue not only to stand with late President's family, but we also support them fully in their quest to accord our leader a befitting funeral that speaks to the circumstances and issues that surround his death. But as it were, there are a number of things that are happening within the party that will require that to guide one another in the midst of the funeral. Number one, allow me to reiterate that stakeholders in Zambia that are interested in the growth and flourishing of our democracy must pay attention to the happenings in PF. The leader of opposition has spoken to institutions of government, but remember that in the 2016 Constitution, political parties have been recognized as constitutional institutions. And therefore, it is expected that for our democracy to grow and to flourish, and the tenets of democracy to be the one that will dictate the happenings in 2026, critical stakeholders and cooperating partners must not stand aloof but pay attention to what is happening to Patriotic Front. But as a leadership, we are resolved to make sure that we do not betray the expectations of the Zambian people. We are going to protect Patriotic Front with everything. And therefore, my call to all members of Patriotic Front, let's remain focused. Let's remain focused. That's what the Zambian people expect of us. And in remaining focused, we already sent circulars directing that the elections begin to take place from the lower organs, at the same time increasing the structural arrangement of our party from committees that previously used to have 24 committee members, but to increase to 72. And that should happen from the lowest organ up to the province. In the next few days and weeks, my office, together with members of Central Committee, will be moving from province to province to conduct elections at provincial level, so that we can have the structure arrangement across the country renew their mandate, because of the inevitable requirement for us by the dictates of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia, but also by the dictates of our own constitution as PF, that we need to go to a conference to elect the next leader of Patriotic Front, and obviously leaders in Central Committee. But as we focus on that, the process of going to the conference and the date are yet to be announced soon. In the meantime, all members of Patriotic Front and even those concerned, sympathizers, supporters, and those who are associating with us, either through the alliances we have joined or those who are interacting with the party, we beg of you that let's allow this process of mourning to be undertaken without indecent posturing of those who are offering themselves for presidency. And posturing in this case is not only by those individuals, but also those who support them. There are some who have even been so overzealous in wanting to project their preferred personalities for presidents, without being sensitive to not only the period we're in of mourning, but also to respect that there are procedures within the party. There will definitely be a day we are going to announce that we are going to a conference and this is the date, and we will open up the campaigns. Therefore, as Secretary General, I direct that all manner of endorsement from anybody within the party will attract discipline and action, because that is going against the ethics of our party in relation to make sure that the sanctity of the process to electing a president is protected. I therefore ban any form of endorsement. If you have a preferred candidate, discuss that preferred candidate in your home. When we open up for campaigns, you will be permitted to talk about your preferred candidate. If you want, you can put them on your head. You can carry anything to show that you love them and you support them. For now, we are all forbidden because we have not opened up the campaigns. There are going to be people generally who are speaking towards the Patriotic Front. We appreciate, because we know that the hopes of the Zambian people lies in PF. We also want to appeal to political parties in opposition. We do know that what happens to PF affects everybody, because we are the main opposition. And we're not saying this out of arrogance. We are saying this out of reality. If PF goes down, the hopes of the entire opposition in the Republic of Zambia goes down together with PF. And therefore, we know the responsibility that rests on our shoulders to make sure that PF remains afloat and survives the onslaught of the UPND against Patriotic Front. That is what the Zambian people are hoping should happen, because it will guarantee them being redeemed in 2026. We relate with you, members of the opposition, as political parties, without inviting ourselves into your internal affairs. And therefore, we also request that we also respect those boundaries. There are some who have political parties they belong to, some of them even leading those political parties. But they find it fashionable to get involved in the affairs of Patriotic Front, but also claiming to be our friends. We will handle our issues and respect that this family has mechanisms within ourselves, internally, without your interference, to resolve our issues. You should support every effort by Patriotic Front to resolve its issues, even with the interference of UPND, and not invite yourself to perpetuate what you think will be beneficial to you. The destruction of PF will not benefit anybody in opposition, but the strength of PF will benefit all opposition in Zambia and will be able to solve the problem that the Zambian people are faced with. There was miscommunication arising from some discourse from some platforms, suggesting that there is a decision to hold the conference only after April. That is not the position. The conference will be held soon, and we have a crucial central committee that is coming in September, and it is set in September because we have issues we're dealing with the funeral, but we also have these processes that we're undertaking at lower organs. When we meet in September, the collective wisdom of the highest organ of the party between conferences, the Central Committee, will make a resolution, and that resolution is the one that is going to dictate the date for the conference, as well as the process that will follow before the conference. And to that effect, all provincial chairmen and your executives, you are directed that the process of lower organ elections through to a point where we're coming to the provinces to come and deal with the provinces, may you expedite, because time is not on our hands or in our favor. God bless, and thank you very much for listening.